This guy is an absolute maniac. All right, here we go. We got a 1st and 10 play. So this is pro formation. We got a tight end right here, down here. We got a receiver up here and a cut split here. So you can call this pro cut, or I would call this 12 on cut. Okay, 1 over here, 2 over here. This guy is on, so this is on cut because we got a cut split here. We got the backfield is I backs. We got a fullback here, tailback here. The quarterback is under center. Okay, so in particular, we're paying attention to Edgerrin Cooper. But I mean, this guy plays with absolute reckless abandon. Let's watch him. Just see the violence that he attacks this with. All right, there's not a whole lot of technique here, but he's downhill right now, forces the issue. He gets into that fullback, blows him up into the tailback, and he's still making all kinds of moves here at the bottom of the pile. He's fighting for everything. I really like the way this kid plays. All right, we're going to go to the other angle and kind of analyze this a little bit more. All right, here we go. So before the ball's even snapped, or right when the ball is snapped, we've got our gap. So obviously Cooper's got this gap. Now there are 2 backs in the backfield, right? And even though the safety is coming down, which makes it an 8-man box, because there are 2 backs in the backfield, we could have one of 2 gaps as inside backers. All right, so he either has the inside half of that gap or the inside half of that gap, depending on where the fullback goes. Okay, if the fullback goes to this A gap here, all right, then he'll go inside half of this A gap, and we'll have this backer on the outside half of that gap. All right, and if fullback goes here, then he'll be on the inside half of this gap, the B gap weak, and the safety will come fill the outside. Okay, so he has a potential for two gaps here. Okay, so the ball snapped, fullback's going this way, so he automatically knows right now, he's got this double team here, he's going to shoot the inside of this B gap and blow up the inside of this fullback to spill the ball carrier to the safety who's coming and should clean up the outside half of this gap right there. Okay, so if we watch this, that's exactly what he does. He fits it nice and tight. Okay, so he's as tight to the inside of this B gap as he can. Inside the fullback, wants to meet him as deep in the backfield as possible. He does a good job here staying square. All right, and then the safety comes and cleans it up. Boom. Good. So one thing that he does really well is he gets very thick on this spill. All right, he doesn't just kind of like give himself up. He goes right down, like he gets half a man, but it's a thick half of the man, right? He's almost down the middle without allowing any cutback lane inside of him. All right, let's watch this in full speed. Boom. Look, I mean, he's fighting with this fullback all the way through the play, right? Totally makes this play. Gives everybody else a chance to get in on it too. That's beautiful. He's a maniac. And I don't know if you noticed, but watch him right before the play trying to get his shoe on. Look at him. After that, he still blows it up. Boom, boom, and that's exactly how it should fit. Safety's got to make that tackle a little cleaner, but otherwise it's really good. Okay, so in this play, this is a toss play. All right, we've got one receiver here. We got 2 tight ends here and a wing. So I would call this is 3 receivers over here. All right, and this is a wing. So this would be wing 31, and he's in a cut split, so that'd be wing 31 cut. Okay, wing 31 cut. The back is home, all right, or an I back. All right, Cooper's here. Go ahead and let it run. All right, so the safety is coming down and forcing this issue right away. Okay, he's the contained player, so he'll be outside of everything. He forces it back. Okay, he does a nice job forcing it back into the pursuit. All right, now I believe what Cooper is doing here is he's playing off of his defensive end. We'll look at it from the other angle. All right, freeze it right here. All right, typically anytime the ball is off the line, we want to force everything back inside, okay? But we can go ahead and see right now. He's going to fight to maintain this gap here. Okay, we'll be able to see that, or excuse me. He's going to fight to maintain this gap here. All right, that should put the safety, if he's forcing out here, right, he's here. That leaves this gap right here, this open D gap, really for Cooper. All right, but I want you to watch what he does. He's got this open D gap. That puts 45 in this B gap. Okay, but Cooper recognizes that this gap gets awfully big, and he thinks he can get inside this tackle and still work back outside to make this play, and he sure does. Watch this. Inside, back out. Still makes the play. Okay, but you can see his gap is actually this D gap that's just closed up. See, there's a little crease right there, and that's actually his gap right there. Okay, but what he's saying is, you know what? I think I'm going to trust my end to force this tight end into that gap. I'll play backside and just trust that my outside force guy is going to knock it all back inside. Okay, and it really helps because 45 here has got a problem with this guy climbing him right away. You see, he was not going to get to that gap. So it's a good job that Cooper recognizes this. Makes a heck of a good tackle, too. He's a maniac. All right. Obvious passing situation, 3rd and long here. All right, we've got empty. We've got 2 receivers out here in a stack. All right, this is a back, but we'll just say that since he's out of the backfield right now, we'll treat him as a receiver. So this is a stack. This is 2 over here, and there's 3 over here, I believe. There's a tight end here. He's off the ball, and 3. Okay, so we can call this empty, or we can call this empty stack 23 off, because he's off. All right. Obviously, there's nobody else in the backfield, so we can just say gun in the backfield. All right, now look, we're going to try to figure out what the coverage is. But it looks like we have 2 high safeties. All right, so this is some sort of a quarters or a combination quarters coverage, where it might be quarters on this side and half field on this side, or vice versa. Looks like both safeties are getting depth, so this is probably cover 2 because the corners are squatting. All right, especially down here. All right, so what we're noticing down here is this is cover 2 for Cooper. Right, so the weak side of the field here, this is definitely cover 2. You can tell by the corner playing pretty aggressively on in the flats. All right, so Cooper, what his job is, in anytime he's in a cover 2, right, he's the weak side curl defender. Curl means that you're inside the number 2 receiver. So if we were counting these receivers, we got 1 here. All right, this is 2 here, or vice versa. It doesn't matter because they're in a stack. He'll carry the inside of the number 2 until about 10 to 12 yards, and then be ready to break on any check down. All right, watch how he breaks. That is a good break. And what we're looking for there is in zone coverage. He wants to break when the front hand of the quarterback comes off the ball. And you can see right there, the front hand just came off. Cooper's already in a good forward lean. His next step is forward. That's excellent. That's an excellent break. So he gives himself a good chance to make this play before the running back can turn and get his shoulders faced up the field. Now, I want you to watch what happens here. He actually misses this tackle, but in true Edgerrin Cooper fashion, he comes back and throws a haymaker to try to knock the ball out of 33's hands. Watch. Misses the tackle. He pops up. Watch this. Boom. I don't know if you can tell that, but his right hand, I mean, he just throws a right overhand hook. Boom. Tries to punch the ball out. Again, this guy plays with the right kind of attitude. Boom. Watch. Punch. Might be able to see it better from the other angle. Okay, we talked about this a second ago. It's cover 2, so he's going to be the curl defender. Okay, we got the corner out there. He's going to be the flat defender. We got Cooper in the curl. All right, that means he's inside the number 2 receiver. He'll play the hook over here, and then we won't worry about the strong side of the field right now. All right, good positioning right there. You can't really tell because he's off the screen, but he's inside number 2. He's got good depth to deter the long throw. And then watch, quarterback's hand comes off right there. He's already driving forward. I don't know if you can tell, but he's on his way forward. Now watch this. Misses the tackle, gets up, and throws a haymaker with his right hand, trying to punch the ball out. This kid plays football the right way. Miss the tackle, get up, throw a haymaker. I like this. Okay, watch this. This is beautiful. So we got one receiver here. We got, let's see, what do we have here? We got a tight end here and a receiver here. So cut, split, cut, 2 receivers. He's on. So this is on, cut, 2, 2, right? On, cut, 22 stack. I would call it a stack, all right? On, cut, 22 stack, or even on, cut, 22 stack, cut, because they are in a pretty tight formation here, a pretty tight split. Now, one thing to notice is the back's depth, right? So I would call this far, gun far, all right? The back is so deep here, right? Usually that indicates that it's going to be a run play. Anytime you see a shotgun and the back is offset, but he's deeper than the quarterback, especially significantly deeper than the quarterback, it's a run play. All right. So he can read the tailback first, all right, and then check this side of the line. There's no contradiction. There is a puller from this side, which could change his gap depending on what his original gap is. So let's go look from the other side. Safety is down to the left. Okay, so right now we got an 8-man front, right, with 1 back. One back means one gap. He's going to be here. Down safety is going to be in the C gap. There. All right. 3 technique is going to, excuse me, the shade is going to be in there. All right. That puts 45 here and puts Cooper right here. Okay. Because we got the 3 technique to this side here. So this is an under front. All right. Meaning that the 3 technique is away from the tight end. All right. So let's see what happens. The ball snapped, boom. All of a sudden, that gap that he had disappears. So because that gap disappeared, let's run it back. So he's supposed to have this A gap, okay? But when this guy pulls, when this guard pulls across this way, what happens now is now there is no backside A gap because the B gap player, the 3 technique here, is now in that A gap because that lineman is gone. So Cooper can jump one gap over to the other side. Watch. See, now 97 is in the gap that he was going to have. Now he can just jump one gap front side, and now he can run through the inside of this A gap. Okay? No need to do that because it closes up, so now he looks for the next open window. And that's just a really good job of being patient. Okay? So, again, to review, it starts off that his responsibility is the A gap weak, okay, right there. And then when the guy pulls, boop, that A gap is gone. Okay, so his job is to find the next open gap. Well, right now it's this one. And if he were to shoot that right now, he might have a chance to get through there. All right, but his instincts say, you know what? I think we're going to close that gap, which does happen. See, that gap gets closed, so he might have wasted himself in there. I'll take the next gap. Once he finds it, he fires his gun, and he makes a good play. It's really good. Truly one of the rising stars in the NFL. This kid was the first inside linebacker taken out of Texas A&M, and he is a baller. He flies around. He makes a lot of plays. He plays with reckless abandon, and I love that kind of play. So good on you, Edgerrin Cooper. Until next time.